Mute.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Freedom Homestead. I am so sorry that we are late. Totally my fault, but we are here now. Welcome to the Beyond Labels Book Club. I'm Tangie from Freedom Homestead. Ladies, would y'all like to introduce yourselves?
I'm Anna from Fermented Homestead.
Constance at A Good Life Farm.
I'm Julie from Row & Co Farms.
And together we are, hey, Tim, thank you so much for being here. Yeah, I had a business call and I could not get off of it in time and it was unexpected. But we are so excited to be here with you guys today. And we are going to be talking about Beyond Labels, written by Sina McCullough and Joel Salatin. We are in Chapter 4, Practical Bites, 26 through 30. Hey, Christy, thank you for being here. And this book, if you are not familiar, if you're just joining us, if you haven't read it, is about food freedom. It's about empowering yourself by learning more about where your food comes from, what is in the packages that you buy from the store, and making the best decision that you can based on your knowledge and your resources. And I really love how they're just unlocking and breaking down what the things on the labels mean and giving us small practical bites that we can apply as we get comfortable, as we feel like stretching ourselves out. And so we're going to go ahead and jump right in since we are running late. So glad that you guys are joining us. And again, so sorry that we're late. So yeah. All right. So practical bite number 6. And see, I didn't have time to put all my cute banners and all that stuff. So we're starting with say yes to wild caught fish. I love me some wild caught fish.
Mm-hmm.
Quite delicious. But why? What's the difference between wild caught fish, farmed fish, any old fish that you just pull out of the water? What are we looking for?
Looking for a nice, bright pink flesh. That's like the number one tell. With a lot of the farmed fish, one thing I want to kind of point out that I have heard is actually legal now is they can farm raise fish in the ocean. They can take the net down and then catch them and label them as wild caught. So you have to be careful and make sure you visually inspect it, because even if they dye the salmon pink, it's not going to be as pink as it is like a actual wild caught salmon. So you have to be careful of that. But basically, it's like the omega-3 to omega-6 ratio is much better. They won't have the antibiotics in there. And they're just generally going to be healthier and better for your body. That's my understanding of it.
It's kind of like when you tell your kids to clean their room. They go in their room and they shove everything in the closet or everything under the bed and said, I did it. I cleaned my room.
Room's clean.
It's like,
oh yeah.
Did you really? Hey, Miss Heather. Glad you're here. Okay. So, fish that's just caught out in the ocean, not necessarily wild. Okay, so when they say wild caught, what are they? Is it still going to have mercury in it?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's not. Yeah. Not as
it's
good.
all that. I think the mercury level all depends on the location of where it's being caught. I think certain areas are more contaminated or maybe naturally have more mercury than others. And so, yeah, I think that's a location situation. Yeah, I think I guess I never really looked a whole lot into fish. We eat some fish, but the most of the time when we eat fish really is when we go on vacation to Florida or something and we're near the beach and it's like, hey, there's lots of fish. Let's eat fish because we're here. But when we're at home, I don't buy a lot of fish at the store. But when we are in Florida, we go deep sea fishing almost every year. And so whatever we catch, we'll bring some of it back. And that's usually the only fish that we eat. So we do have wild caught fish, but I never really looked at the farm raised and like what that actually meant. And it's basically the same as the CAFOs for the big chickens and the big, swine houses and the big beef houses. It's the same thing. They're feeding them the same like GMO corn and soy and all this stuff. And I guess I was pretty surprised by it because fish isn't a staple in my diet all the time. It's becoming a little bit more now, but to see that it's the same thing, I'm like, it's disappointing because you're kind of thinking, okay, fish, it's out there, it's in the water, how bad can it be? But then you're like, man, they're just swimming around in their poop just like all the rest. It's just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never really ate a lot of seafood or fish, I should say, until we lived in Alaska. And, we would actually go out and catch salmon, and my husband would go out on fishing trips and bring home halibut and all that stuff. And I think that was probably the first time in our lives that fish was actually something that we consumed on a regular basis just because we had it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not something I cook very often because honestly, I hate my house smelling like fish the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll eat it on like the rare occasion that we go out. I might have seafood because then I can enjoy it without my house stinking the next day. But I mean, I do from time to time cook salmon. But I do try to get it from a place that at least says it's wild caught and raised, or not raised, but came up the way God intended for it to. But gosh, with that what you said, Anna, that's like, are you kidding me?
You have to visually
Question everything.
at this point. Like, and another thing that I've become much more, I live in Washington and I have pretty much my entire life. I live like on the coast, like well within a reasonable distance. Fish is such an easy access for me, but it's never been something that I've really made a heavy part of my life. But ever since, Fukushima and, basically the poisoning of the Pacific Ocean, I really don't eat salmon that's caught in the Pacific Ocean. We recently at work got a misdelivery of some Atlantic salmon, and I did take advantage of that when I got like 3 big, fish-sized slabs of salmon, and that was pretty nice. But I think I stay away from anything caught in the Pacific Ocean. I think it's too contaminated at this point. I just can't see myself actually consuming it.
Yeah. It's crazy. Who was it? Somebody just asked. Okay, Christy asked if they label the fish as wild caught, but it really isn't. How do we know the difference on the label? And I was trying to think. I don't recall seeing that there is anything. Well, okay, I have cans of skipjack tuna that I just got because right now the bougie tuna is cheaper than the than the conventional tuna at Aldi, and it says it's pole caught. It's wild caught and pole caught. So I don't know if that's an indication that it really is wild caught,
I think it
or
would.
if there just happened to be a pole on the boat when they caught it in a net. You know what I mean? Like
It's true.
You just don't know. Was anybody else shocked to find out that there is genetically modified salmon?
No.
Nope.
I've heard about it for like 10 years.
You've not? See, I didn't know that.
That's like actually been approved? That's GMO salmon, or is that longer?
Where it's been approved. My mom passed away in 2014, and she died of a 7-year battle with dementia, and I knew about it before when she was still had her mind about her, and she was the one who was telling me about it and about how like once they do, it wasn't released then, and I'm not entirely sure if it is now, but she was telling me basically that they were projecting that once they do release it into the wild, that wild salmon is going to be extinct within 40 years because the way that they've created these salmon, they cannot breed independently, so they will basically breed out the wild salmon. I don't remember exactly what the details were of that, but she was telling me about it a long time ago.
Yeah, I had if I had heard it, it didn't stick. I was surprised I mean, surprised in the fact that they're there, not so much that they've done it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Heather has just given a really great resource for where she gets wild caught sockeye salmon. So that might be something that everyone might be interested in looking at for themselves. Another thing too that I found quite disgusting was how it talked about how farmed fish, that they have been putting flame retardant chemicals, and there was some oils, like canola oil, and some other kind of oil soy oil to help to reduce the amount of toxins.
Right.
Isn't that funny? Like, okay, I don't know that you're really making it better, but I guess it's the thought that counts.
They're thinking too much about it. Like, we just need to let nature take its course, and we're interfering. We're interfering too much. Too much.
Mm-hmm.
I just recently found out, and I know this is a little bit off topic, but I'm going to just say it really quick, that, I have alpha-gal syndrome, which is the allergy to a sugar called alpha-galactose. It's in all mammals. But there is a company called Revivicor, which makes medical things out of animal parts. Okay, so now this is a thing. There's all kinds of medical devices and implants that are made from animal parts. And like pigs, for instance, there's heart valves and different replacements and things that are done with pig parts. Well, this company is now made a genetically modified pig that does not have alpha-gal in it. So part of me is like, ooh, maybe one day I'm going to have this pig and I get to eat it, because the company has actually been doing trials, and all these people with alpha-gal could sign up for the trial and receive pig to try to eat. So it's specifically for people with alpha-gal, and they're using that as part of their way to fund their research so that they can do the medical side of it. So I'm very torn, because I'm like, ooh, I might be able to eat bacon again, but then I'm like, no, it's genetically modified, so I'm not eating it. So yeah, I'm really torn, because part of me's like, wow, that's really incredible that they can change the genetics of this pig to take away that one thing. But then I'm like, man, they're messing with things that they shouldn't mess with. It just kind of, yeah, I'm torn right now on that. But I did not sign up for the research, and I'm not doing it. So I'm not going to be their guinea pig anyway.
Yay, Julie, for having principles.
Even when it comes to bacon.
Exactly. Like, you guys, everybody loves bacon. That's been probably my biggest, like, I wish I still had real bacon and some other things too. But yeah, when I think about that, I could potentially have that again. Yeah, I'm torn, but I have still leaned towards no genetically modified pork for me. No, thank you.
Yeah, that'd be sad. It'd be a sad day. Couldn't have bacon. Okay, so to wrap up this part, do y'all have any other thoughts or things that you want to say about the wild caught fish? No? Okay, so I'll end it before we skip on to the next one. The very last thing that Sina said is, the bottom line is, avoid farm-raised fish, buy wild caught instead, and cooking it on a grill as opposed to in a pan allows fat to drip from the fish, which means it helps to remove the PCBs, the dioxins, and other pollutants that can be stored in the fat, which that's a really great tip. Okay, so practical bite number 27. I kind of feel like we all do this, or most of us do this anyway, which is bring your lunch. And can I just say, y'all, the first time that I met Miss Anna was at HOA, and lady was walking around with a steak in her backpack. It was like the best thing ever.
She's eating it out of a Ziploc bag.
Yeah,
It was so good. It was so much better than anything else they had there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we're sitting there eating our food, and I'm looking over, and she's got like this big hunk of steak in a bag, and she's like, yeah. I'm like, man, that steak looks good.
But you know, if anywhere, HOA is where you're going to see lots of people eating all kinds of crunchy things. Like you'll see these people over here with their picnic and their kids sitting down with their raw milk and their cheese and all that stuff. Literally, you see
I
all
love
different
it.
kinds of HOA. It is amazing. I love that. I love it.
Yep. It is the best.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, so I'm just gonna read the top part here, and then I mean I feel like I don't know how far this practical bite can go into, but it may surprise us. If you eat out at lunch, start preparing your lunch at home instead. Of course, it's better on the wallet too. Try bringing your lunch once a week and then slowly increase the frequency until you are packing your lunch every day. With the money you save, you can fill your packed lunch with a healthy food such as whole organic fruits and vegetables and meat from truly pasture-raised chickens. And that is so true. When we were displaced for 4 months, I was telling the ladies that I was just going through all of our bank statements for our taxes, and I could not believe how much we ate out and how much we spent eating out. It is ridiculously expensive, and obviously the food quality is horrible, which is probably why I gained 30 pounds last year. But yeah, so bringing your lunch. Okay, so maybe we can share some tips, some ways that we can pack a healthy lunch, something that's convenient, ready to go. What do y'all have? Any good tips?
I would say I do it all the time for work because I go to work, and so I don't have like my kitchen at home that I can cook things. And so I have to do this sort of thing either daily or eat at work, which is a terrible option. I mean, it's not terrible, but like it's certainly not the best thing I could do. So I've always either packed it with in a thermos, like just getting like a good quality thermos. The thermoses these days really they're much better than just the typical, like logger taking their coffee thermos to work. Like they actually sell like large size. You can get them 16 ounce or 32 ounce. And these actual like soup thermoses that you can take with you to work. Soup is a fantastic option. All of these will keep it warm for any reasonable length of time when you're going to work. Either that or packing something that tastes good cold. Just making meals ahead of time that just taste good cold, that you can just bust out your container and you can just eat it right on the spot. Sandwiches are great. Any kind of like potato salad or egg salad. Like I said earlier, soups, steak. I mean, you can't go wrong with a steak in a Ziploc bag. Like it's delicious, and everybody's going to look at you and be like, "I want some of that." It's true. So that's kind of my tips. Just keeping it simple, and just you don't have to have some big extravagant meal and prepackaged foods. Like, just grab a steak.
Yeah, even though I work from home, so I'm right here with the kitchen. But Heather said, double up when you make dinner. Leftovers are the bomb for lunch if you can hang with cold food or have the means to warm it up. And I know that my husband and my daughter both are really excited when there's leftovers that they can take instead of like just a cold, boring sandwich or something. But yeah, I would say that and then there's a lot of people that will prep for the week. If you have like an hour or two to carve in your week down and bang out, 5 lunches, just to be able to have it quick to go. I think that would probably be my biggest tip. If I worked outside of the home, well, I would say that I would do that, but that's not true. I know I would be grabbing stuff quickly, running out the door, and it would probably be like the tuna still in the can and a pack of crackers or something. But anyway, yeah, there's definitely, if you plan ahead and if this is something that's really important to you and you really want to do it, and like they said, start with doing 1 meal a week, and then just as you can build it up and do more, and you'll save money and feel better.
Yeah, those bento boxes are great. They make a great, YouTube short, but trying to actually do that every week, I don't know how people do that. And also canning your meals, like just can it and just take the can to work, have a bottle opener or a knife or something. You just pop the lid on and just eat it. Like you can make meals like that. You make a lot of meals that way, really easy and quick.
Mm-hmm.
And mason jars are microwave safe.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the route you need to go.
Mm-hmm. And those salads in
Heather's
jars.
all my answers. No, I'm sorry, Tangie. Go ahead. I said,
I was gonna
Heather,
say-
Heather's stealing all of my answers. Everything I was going to say, I'm like, Heather just said it. I was going to say, pack that little snack pack of like different things that you can just munch on throughout the day, like nuts and cheese and eggs and all this stuff she just said. And I was going to say too, double up on what you make at night so that you have the leftovers the next day. But you're beating me to the punch today, Heather.
Yeah, and I would say too, I think like you see on like Pinterest and stuff where people make salads in those jars and they will last all week. Like you can make a week of them and just leave them in there, and yeah, that's all good stuff. Also, sorry. I lost my train of thought. Oh, I was also going to say, and instead of going through a drive-through, let's say you walk out of the house completely empty-handed, go to a grocery store instead of a drive-through, because you're going to have way better options and you're going to spend less money. And also, if your work has a refrigerator or a way that you can just keep stuff there, that would be, I think, another option.
Another option that I just popped into my head with regards to the mason jars, Moore's Patch of Heaven did a video on, it's a little container you can get at Walmart. I saw it at Walmart, and it's basically this thing that you can plug into the wall if you have access to an outlet, and you just literally plop a wide mouth pint-sized jar into it, and it just heats it up for you. Like you just literally plop it right in, and it warms it up for you in about 2 hours.
I used to have one of those a long time ago.
I thought it was cool.
I didn't think they still made them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We used to have a thing. It was like a little warmer, but we plugged it into the thing in the ambulance, like, where the cigarette lighter thing used to be. I guess they still had that, the little outlet thing. And you basically could slide like a glass casserole dish or whatever into it, and it would basically heat it up for you. So yeah, over it's like a slow crock pot kind of heat up. So it was just a gentle warming up. So yeah, you could have like a hot meal after a couple hours and be ready to go. So that was pretty neat. I guess it's the same concept. Yeah.
It'd be great for
just
road
mason
trip.
jar size. Yeah, it is. I think it's called Hot Logic is the name of the brand, I believe. Don't quote me on that.
I would have loved that.
Like that.
I would have loved something like that when we were traveling. Years ago, we lived in Alaska and we drove all the way across the country from North Carolina up through the Yukon and all that stuff. And every day we would stop on the side of the road. I would make sandwiches and all that stuff, and that's what we would have for lunch. But then we would get to our campsite in the evening, and I would cook a dinner because we have a little camp stove and all that stuff. And I could have cooked extra and heated it up like that. That would have been amazing. I wish I'd have known about something like that.
That's awesome. And yeah, I was thinking too, Anna, like since you've got a big trip coming up pretty soon, that'd be pretty cool for you and Robert.
Oh yeah, right. I'm good with steak in the bag.
Yeah.
Or just fasting.
Well, you got plenty of jars of something back there. You can
so true.
Or you've got lots of canning stuff stored away.
Oh yeah, but it's stored away, so it's not easily accessed right now.
Okay, so any other final thoughts on bringing your lunch to work? The next one is it goes hand in hand. Be prepared with snacks. I mean, I think all of us, we wait too long to eat. And then what ends up happening is that we make really poor decisions because we're hungry and it's just like, just whatever, just give me something to eat. Give me a Snickers bar. I don't care. So being prepared with snacks, what are some of your, of course, y'all have already kind of talked about it, but what are some of your favorite snacks to throw in your bag before you walk out the door?
Beef jerky. I love beef jerky.
We should have known, huh?
Or biltong. That stuff is so good. That's the new beef jerky. That stuff is amazing.
What is that exactly? Yeah. Is that
it's
pork or is it beef?
It's like a different kind of they take like a steak or just like a slab of meat and they like cure it or something like long age or something, and it's a different texture, and then they slice it up. after
I
it's
love
dry.
it. Yeah.
I
It's
see.
so good.
I see.
Oh,
That makes sense.
And
That
it
makes sense.
still have like, like ribbons of fat still in it. It's,
They have chunks of fat on it.
Yeah.
Some of them.
yeah.
I don't eat chunks because it just weirds me out. But just only because it's like I've never found organic, so I don't eat the fat.
I'm a big fan of like dried fruits.
Mm.
Those are kind of my favorite go-to snacks.
Yeah.
I would love it, but it doesn't love me.
I'm an apple and peanut butter kind of girl. I love apple and peanut butter. So yeah, slice an apple, throw some peanut butter in a little cup. What else do I like to take on the go? I like a trail mix. Always a trail mix is a good way to go. Almonds and hazelnuts, walnuts, maybe a few chocolate chips, and some dried fruit of some kind. I like cranberries and golden raisins. Those are my favorite. And I love dried mango also. What else do we do for snacks? I think snacks, popcorn. I love popcorn with nutritional yeast on it. That's really good. What else? Yeah, I think snacks is where we fall off because it's so easy to find a processed snack. Like we can easily make plans for meals. Like we can say, okay, Monday we're going to have this for dinner and this for lunch and this for breakfast. But it's those in betweens when we're on the go. That's where we fall off easily. So I think prepping for the snack times is definitely something to think about more. I don't prep for snacks as much as I should. I need to do more.
I think
for snacks.
utilizing the freezer can be beneficial too, because you can make things in batches ahead of time, freeze some in portions, and then just get out what you need as you need it, and not have to worry about not having something on hand. But one of my favorite snacks as a kid, which I don't think I eat anywhere near enough as an adult, is we called it ants on a log. And it was celery with cream cheese and paprika, sometimes with paprika, but sometimes it was peanut butter with raisins and all of those crunchy little healthy snacks. And I mean, we eat them all the time as a kid.
I used to love those. They're so
Mhm.
good.
Yeah. And I think, well, I know for my family, the best thing to do is to, when I get home, wash the vegetables, cut them up, put them in the container, put them in the fridge. Otherwise, they're just going to stay in the fridge and become chicken feed. But yeah, I love that. In fact, one thing, a friend of mine, she has 4 kids, and that's what she does. When she gets home from the store, she washes the produce, she puts it in containers, she puts it in the fridge, and then she pulls it out every meal, not just for snack. It's not just ready for snacking, but it's also a fresh vegetable option at every meal. And I was like, that is so genius. She's a much better mother than I am.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it really is. And that just, and she requires her kids to at least have, a few pieces of the fresh vegetables on top of whatever else that she prepared. And they, of course, the kids love it because they grew up eating that way. So they're not picky. It's like a carrot, a couple of bell peppers, a couple of pieces of broccoli, and then they have that with each meal. Oh man, pimento cheese on celery. Okay, listen, I have not eaten today. Y'all are killing me. Oh my goodness. Okay, so nuts, meats, cheeses, vegetables, fruits, all of those. And those are things that are easily prepped. And a great way. Well, thank you, Tim. That's sweet. But yeah, just this, I think this is an area that it takes little effort, but it's going to have a really big impact when it comes to helping us make better choices during the day. So that's awesome. Okay. So Practical Bites number 29. And I think this is so timely because we are coming up on a big holiday where a lot of folks are going to a relative's house, or they're going somewhere and there's going to be food, which is bring your own solutions. And I'm actually going to be doing this on Sunday. We are going to my in-laws. They are having a big Easter family get together. And I know that there is going to be food there that is on my way of eating, but I also know there's going to be a lot of food that isn't. So one of those things being desserts, and I love sweets. And so I'm going to make sure that I am bringing things that are on my plan that I can have. And so I'm satisfied. I'm not triggered to, grab the wrong things. But so let's say you're going to a potluck and more than likely there's going to be food there that is not something that you want to consume or you don't want your family to consume. What are your go-to dishes to bring to something like that?
Deviled eggs.
Yep, that's actually what I'm bringing.
Yeah.
I'm bringing the deviled eggs for sure, because I know I'm not putting sugar in mine. In the South, there's a good chance that if you eat somebody's deviled eggs, it's going to have sugar in it.
Really?
I
Yes.
have never heard that.
Never heard of putting sugar in it. Maybe Miracle Whip, but you can tell in the first bite, you're just like, you can have it back.
Yeah. In this area, I mean, I can't speak for all of the South, but I know growing up in Georgia and living in Kentucky for over half of my life that it doesn't matter what it is, there's sugar in there somewhere. There was one time, the first time I was doing keto, we had a church dinner and the ladies of the church prepared the meal. And I'm looking, okay, there's green beans. That's safe. There was cabbage, deviled eggs, layered salad, and then there was some other kind of protein. So I asked, is there sugar in the eggs? To which I was told, oh, honey, there's sugar in everything. I said, even in the green beans? And they said, yeah, some. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
So yeah, you just gotta.
Yeah, you can do like a meat and cheese board kind of thing, like charcuterie style, like kind of bring that. And, you could even include like some crackers for other people, but like, that it's good sourced, like sliced meat, like, was it like salami or pepperoni, pastrami, stuff like that.
Yum. Yes.
I think what I bring depends on what it is, what the event is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I am going to try and make something that's suitable for the holiday or whatever it is. But I always want to make sure I've got something at least that's filling to me. So if all I have is that thing, then I'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's nothing else there for me to enjoy.
Yeah, I agree. My go-to is like a gluten-free pasta salad. And then I can add all kinds of stuff into that I know I can eat. So I could even add like turkey pepperoni or any kind of stuff like that. And I'm like, this is my meal. I know I can eat this. This is the go-to thing. But yeah, for me, it's really a lot about preparing for the allergies. And that's been very hard. I think going to social situations where you basically can't eat almost every single dish. And for me, it's mostly bacon that gets snuck into a lot of things. Like think about your typical barbecue. You've got burgers, you got hot dogs, you've got beans with bacon in them, you've got green beans with bacon in them, you've got potato salad with bacon in it. Every single item ends up having bacon, some kind of meat or gluten in it. So it's like you got to bring your own something to eat. So yeah, I do pasta salad. A gluten-free pasta salad, or you could do a regular, that could be your thing too, because you can load it up with all kinds of good stuff. Then there's also like those taco dips where you can add the layered taco dips with all the good stuff. That's, I think, is a good, easy way also that you can incorporate something like that. And you can bring, an organic tortilla chip and you're set. So yeah, I'd say those would be some of my favorite ones.
And I like those options too, because anybody can eat them. And most likely they're not going to know that it's, gluten-free or whatever.
Right.
That's good. Yeah, Heather was saying something about a keto cheesecake. That is like, oh, so good. And people don't know the difference. So that's definitely, I think that's great that you can bring something that you feel good about eating, but other people can partake with you. And it's not a, ew, what is this kind of thing. Let's see. Sunny's Place said, I always bring Mexican side dishes because I'm talking authentic stuff, not the Americanized stuff. And most of it is gluten-free. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so hungry now. Awesome. Okay. So any other tips before we move on to the final practical bites? All right, here we go. Practical bite number 30. Step outside the grocery store box. Don't limit yourself to the local grocery store. You can often find a wider variety of foods and better deals when you shop online. All right. So I know Anna gets a lot of things online, and I know Julie gets a lot of things online. I think, Constance, you do sometimes or a lot of times.
Sometimes certain things.
Yeah, I don't get a whole lot of things online. Usually if it's keto stuff. But all right, so can y'all share with us what are some things that y'all get online? And honestly, if y'all watch their Azure Standard grocery hauls, they do price comparisons, which are, I love that kind of stuff. It's so fascinating. But can y'all share the benefits of shopping online? What have you found to be your most favorite deal? And yeah, why should people consider shopping online?
Well, I mostly just order, most of the stuff I order online is through Azure. I do order things from Amazon when I need to, but for the most part, if Azure has it, I'm going to order it through Azure. And a big reason for that is I like the company, and I like that they do a really good job of sourcing the food, and they tell you. I mean, you have the thing that I like the most is the little toggle button at the top that you can click that says organic only. It'll show you only organic options. You don't even have to look at the other crap. You don't have to weed through it or nothing. And I just find that their prices are about half of what any other place sells them for, including locally. They don't have a tremendous like meat selection. I don't feel at a great price, but they do have a lot of keto options, and I buy them from there. They have a lot of really good like grains and things like grains, beans, legumes, nuts, all of those sorts of things are fantastically priced there. You beat Amazon by almost half, you beat local source by more than half, and they're just an amazing deal. And you know exactly where they're sourced from. They tell you where they're sourced from. You know they're not irradiated, which is a huge deal for me. And especially their spices. Like I think Azure is fantastic. I see that Heather said that she gets the fats on there. I tend to buy my fats from Costco. They have pretty good fats at a very, very good price. Like you can get like a big gallon tub of what's it called? Coconut oil for like $13. I don't know what the price is now. I haven't bought it in a while, and I'm sure that inflation has impacted that, but it was $13 about a year ago. And they have a big tub of avocado oil. Like it's a big giant lug of it. I just bought it the other day. That was a good price. But yeah, buying online through Azure almost always beats anywhere else.
Yes. Basically
Heather,
ditto to what you just said. Oh, I'm sorry, Constance. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. Heather just mentioned camel hump fat.
I've heard of that. I've never used it, but
I was looking at that too. I was like, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Julie.
No, y'all just like, I'm like camel hump fat. No, but you know what? That just shows you like every region you use what you have in your area. So people that have access to camels are going to use the fat from the camels. I mean, it makes sense. It doesn't make sense to me that we would use it because we don't have access to camels. Like, this is where you use something regional and local to you, I think. Now, not that it's not good, Heather. I think that's pretty cool. Like, if I could try that, I would. I'm pretty sure that's a mammal, so I'm not going to try it. But yeah, I love Azure. I order online through Azure, and I've used them for at least 10 years. I love Azure Standard because compared to anything I can get local, it's going to be way cheaper, and I can get more of it. We just have very minimal selection in our area for organic items. And when you do find them, they're very expensive. Finding gluten-free flours, you can find a small bag, but you're going to pay just top dollar for it. So yeah, I just really love to use Azure, and that's the main one that I use to order stuff, and sometimes Amazon, but usually it's Azure. And like Anna said, they vet all of their products heavily before they ever bring them into their, things that they offer. They don't have anything with GMO, as far as I know. Nothing is GMO. Not everything is organic, but I'm pretty sure there's no GMOs in any of their products. So you can pretty much order at will there and feel good about what you're getting, and the prices are fantastic. You just have to get used to the ordering cycle. You got to order once a month, and you got to pick up, and you have to go to the location, which may be an hour or so from you. Usually within an hour you can get to Azure Standard, but I think online and using local farms for other items, and just trying to avoid the grocery store if you can. I mean, it's not the end all be all. I still go to the grocery store too. It is what it is. But yeah, we try to use some local and then the online options when we can, if it's a better deal.
And online is, like you're saying, it's a great way to have access to higher quality foods that might not be available in your area. Because a lot of places in like the Midwest and in the South, like they apparently didn't get the memo about organic foods, from what I hear. I've never been there, but like, it's a great way to be able to get access to foods that just simply are not available. Like people just in areas don't find value in certain products that you know that you want to consume. And so going online is a great way to buy it. You might not be able to buy like fresh broccoli that's organic, but you can buy frozen, or you could buy dehydrated or freeze dried.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and here in my area, I mean, I am in the South. I'm in northern Alabama, but there's some limited options in my town, where I'm at. But about 45 minutes away, we've got a Whole Foods, we've got a Sprouts, we've got a Fresh Market. So I can, go into town, or go into the city, I should say, about once a week or every other week, and I can get pretty much anything that I would want. But then I do also use Azure, and to get the things that I can't necessarily find, like not food related, but like I have certain hair products that I like, conditioner and things like that I used to get at Earth Fair, but then our Earth Fair shut down and just went away, poof. And so Azure carries that stuff. They don't just have food; they've got cleaning supplies, like good for your home cleaning supplies that aren't filled with toxic soup that you don't want to bring in. And really, that is cleaning supplies is what actually turned my brain into paying attention to what comes in and what affects our body back when my kids were little, because my older son had an allergic reaction to Carpet Fresh and ended up in the hospital for a week. And so that was like the light bulb moment that was like, what are we bringing into our home? And that, I think, was really the trigger that started my whole journey into the food and everything else. So there's a lot of options. I also get grains from Breadbeckers, and it's a lot like Azure, but it is mainly, grains. They do have like dried peas, legumes, things like that, baking supplies, but they really only deliver in like Alabama, Georgia, just the very southeast of the country. They do ship all over the country. However, when you've got a 5-gallon bucket of wheat berries and that is really, really heavy, you're going to pay a fortune in shipping. So they do have they call them co-ops, which work exactly like the Azure drop-offs. And so I'm able to get things like that through them. And they have organic, they have both, but they have organic options. And I found out about them before I'd ever heard of Azure, and I do still use them a little bit.
That's cool. Have any of you ever used Thrive Market?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on it? I've always looked at it, but I'm like, I can usually find those products at my salvage store for pennies on the dollar. So I've never ordered anything from there, but what are your thoughts?
I know that there's two different Thrives, and I think one is just Thrive and one is Thrive Market. Mm-hmm. And I have used the one that is not all the freeze-dried foods. It's more like you can buy like grocery style items. So I'm not sure which one that is. But that one, it has like a what is it? Like a membership fee kind of. And at the time, this was like 5 years ago, I found the membership fee to be kind of steep, but I don't remember what it was, so I don't have a clue. And then at the time, I was just very, very budget conscious, and which, I mean, I still am, but just not quite as much. But I used it to get a very, very large bulk order of what's in the green can, not Vital Farms, but collagen. I got tons of collagen at a super ridiculously cheap price because they had like an intro, like X number of dollars off or a percentage. And so I got it for really cheap. And then I just never ended up continuing with it. But they had good deals, and they shipped to you. I think it was free shipping if you went over a certain amount of dollars. But I don't know if that's the same one that y'all are talking about.
Thrive Market is that one, and then Thrive Foods is the company.
It's confusing. I didn't even put two and two together until like a month ago. I was like, wait, this is not the same company.
Vital Proteins. That's right, Heather. That's what you're talking about in the green.
Yeah. I don't think it was that brand though. It was the other one, the one that's like grass. It's a different brand, but yeah, same principle.
Oh, Garden of Life, maybe?
No.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So any other places other than online that's a good, I know we've talked about farmers market, we've talked about co-ops, we've talked in past ones. I guess that pretty much covers it, right? Oh yeah. Somebody had mentioned Misfits too, and that they talk about the Misfits Market, which is they sell organic fruits and vegetables. I've tried it twice, and it didn't work for us. But I know for some people, I think maybe that live closer to the distribution area, they usually have better experiences because their food is not as damaged as what the 2 times I got it. CSAs. That's a good one, Heather. Didn't think about that one. So if you're not familiar with what a CSA, which I think everybody in the chats is, that is community supported. Thank you. My mom went like, yes, community supported agriculture. Basically, what happens is you buy a subscription with your local farmer, and every week or so, you pick up a box, and it's got a nice array of different things. It can be everything that they have grown themselves. Sometimes they work out things with other farmers. So you might get a box where they grew, some greens, and then you might have some milk from another farm and a soap from, a goat farm or something like that. And that really that's a great way to support your local farmers and get some really delicious, nutritious food on your table. Bountiful Baskets, I don't know what that is.
Transcription of the chat just so I can get all of Heather's ideas that she's throwing out there. Holy crap.
U.S. wellness meats. Oh my goodness. Heather and several other people are all throwing some food resources to check out.
I have another, I haven't used this company, but I've seen lots of other people. It's called Naturally a Deal. And I don't think it's all over the country, but I do think it's in the Southeast, and you can order. It's similar to Azure. You're getting basically bulk items shipped to you. I don't know, because I haven't used it. I don't know if they have the same things available every month or if they have different things that become available that you can choose from. But it's supposed to be really good deals there where you can get bulk organic natural items. So, check that out too if that's an option for some people where you live.
Where was that? I missed what you said.
It's called Naturally a Deal. That's the name of the company, Naturally a Deal. I think it's in the Southeast all over, but it's similar to Azure. They do like a co-op style shipment where you meet up and pick up your order. It's very similar.
When I first moved here to Alabama, there was actually a program too, and I cannot remember the name of it, but it was really, really inexpensive, like $15 or $20 a box. And for that price, you got a huge produce box filled with all different kinds of produce that was in season from farmers in the area. And it was almost like a CSA, but it wasn't. And I wish I could remember the name of it, but it was just one that was here in the area. And I got some. I remember it was always an adventure because you didn't know what you were going to get in there, and sometimes there was things and there was no list, so you didn't even know what it was. And sometimes you'd look at this and go, "What is this? And how do I use this?" But it was really neat, and for 15 or 20 bucks for all of that produce, that was pretty good.
That was one of the reasons why I wanted to try Misfits, because I wanted to, experiment with different produce, and thought, maybe I'll find something I've never tried before and I can start growing it myself. And didn't really work out that way. But
one thing I wanted to point out on here from Sunny's Place, she says, does anyone worry about these delivery services and the mileage involved with transporting those products? And I just wanted to point out at the end of this chapter, they actually discussed that. And they had said that a certain company had done that. And they were concerned about the extra mileage of him delivering all this stuff versus people coming to pick it up. And because that is the alternative. It's either get delivered by people who are maximizing on the delivery fee or the delivery and like routing things in a perfect fashion versus all these people waiting in the left-hand turn lane using all the gas. And anyways, they basically figured out that it was a much lighter of a footprint to have these things delivered to the houses versus all of these people going to the brick and mortar store to pick it up. So I hope that helps.
Heather said, "Oh, and the meal in the box, folks, like Green Chef and Blue Ribbon." So yeah, I've never tried one of those companies, but that would be a great alternative. I think just having that a couple of nights a week, like I wouldn't do it every single night because that would be really expensive, but just to have, somebody put a kit together for you and all you got to do is open it and like all of the ingredients are right there. That would be cool.
I'm too much of a controlled freak with my food.
Me too.
I'm just being honest. I don't want to cook what somebody else wants me to cook.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I'm too picky and I change my mind too often. It's like I change the way that I eat so often. It's like I could never commit to a subscription service. Like that would be such a waste of food. I'd be like, oh, tomorrow I'm going to change the way I'm eating entirely, but I have all this food in the groceries in the fridge. I'm like, oh well, your husband eat this.
Yeah. I think you can choose what they send, what you get.
Yeah, but it would already be chosen by the time I change my mind.
Or you change your mind. Oh, man.
You guys notice of anybody?
Okay. All right. So any last thoughts or any updates you guys would like to share with your health journeys or anything like that?
I can say that I did say that I was going to commit to buying the raw milk, and I did go last week, and I bought 2 gallons of raw milk and 3 big things of butter, and cheese. So I'm on my way. I'm doing it. I'm going tomorrow to get my next batch. So yeah, I'm proud of myself. I said I was going to do it, and I went and did it.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Today is day 4 of water fasting, so that's been interesting. And I've been monitoring my ketones and all that kind of stuff and blood glucose. And like this morning, it just like tanked. Like, I mean, in a good way. Like my blood glucose went down to like 64, and then my ketones are like 5.2 or something ridiculous. It was really high for the first like 2.5 days, and then all of a sudden it just dropped to like 3 ketones and then like 69 glucose or something like that. And then I woke up this morning and it just went again. And I was just like, okay, there's a noted change after 3 days. I was like, this is pretty interesting. So I'm just going to go until like I have negative effects. And I feel like if I feel lightheaded or like overly hungry or, like super cranky, any of that kind of stuff, like I'm going to bail and do my bone broth fast, but like feeling great, feeling awesome.
That's awesome. What about you, Miss Constance? Anything?
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I'm very, I don't know if I mentioned this in any of our chats, but there for a while, I thought I was lactose intolerant. I know you ladies know this, but I don't know if I had talked about it here. I was having all sorts of issues. Now, I don't really consume a ton of dairy. My main dairy source is through my coffee. And I was a little heartbroken because I thought I was lactose intolerant, and I cannot get lactose free half and half anywhere except in the city. And there were several times I went there and they didn't have any there either. And like, there's no stores anywhere near me that carry it. And I hate all alternative dairies. I mean, I hate them all. Um, and one day I went and I got myself a coffee at a coffee shop, and I forgot to order it with different milk because I could usually, for some reason, I could handle their almond milk, but I hated it when I made it myself. And I was fine. And that got me thinking, what is the difference here? Well, I went ahead and I bought some of their coffee, and they have like organic coffee and everything. Brought it home, ground it, made it myself with regular half and half, and I had no reaction. And so all this time I've been thinking I was lactose intolerant, and something had changed with my coffee. And I've been drinking that same coffee for years and years and years. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it had something to do with my body or if the company did something different, but I'm good. And I'm very happy that I'm not lactose intolerant because I'm from Wisconsin. I love cheese. So that's something that I was happy about.
Yeah, that's odd. Yeah, that would be a huge relief. I know. Yeah, for me, this, of course, I've started back on keto last week, and I've already lost. Well, let's see. This morning I'm down a full 5 pounds, but it's all inflammation, and I can already tell a difference in my mental clarity, and I can tell a difference in my energy. And I can just tell a difference overall. What I'm really hoping is that I was telling the ladies earlier, I don't know how long I've had it, but it's just recently that I've really noticed it, and it's really kind of, all I see. And I think there must be a filter built into this camera, but I have what I believe self-diagnosed a very, very mild case of rosacea, but I have red and some red, kind of like that blushing that they talk about. And which in my research, it is an inflammation response. So hopefully being keto is going to help take care of that. If after 30 days, I don't notice a difference, and that probably I'm going to have to start eliminating probably dairy, probably eliminating some of the processed foods that I eat. But yeah, so that is definitely something that I'm keeping in the forefront of my mind, because I've not always had this. This is a pretty recent development. So anyway, but yeah, feeling good and looking forward to getting healthier and yeah, just making better choices, one practical bite at a time. All right, you guys. So we hope you all enjoyed hanging out with us today. We are going to be reading Practical Bites 30 through 34, and that will get us in chapter 4. So we will see y'all next week. Lord willing, we will be on time. But now that I'm having a new job, something might pop up at the last minute, but hopefully I can avoid it. But anyway, you guys have an awesome week. Don't forget, if you were not subscribed to the roundtable here, to check out the channels and give them some love, hang out with them, see what they do over on their homesteads, what they're cooking, they're eating, what their chores are, what crafts they're crafting, doing all the things, what antiques they are getting. So anyway, thank you all so much. And until next time, remember to be vigilant, be prayerful, and we will catch y'all in the next one. God bless. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.